Hi, welcome to this short tutorial on making a simple UI wireframe kit for a game. This is really simple. You're just making some wireframe images and buttons, placeholders. And it depends a lot, like the design of this is going to depend a lot on exactly how you've envisioned your UI. Whatever directives you've gotten from the design team, whatever directives you've gotten from the development team, whether or not you're on that team, if it's just you making it, all of this is going to be your final, even your wireframe design is going to be dependent upon what they say. Maybe it's not going to be angular and boxy like this. Maybe it's going to be curved. There are a whole bunch of options for things. You can see there's this is just a Pinterest board that I've put together that shows a bunch of examples of UI kits. The ones are these UI designs, and then there's some UI kit examples as well. The ones that I find most relevant are going to be things like this. You're not so much working on a HUD as you are the menu interfaces. So you need to decide how it's going to look, how it's going to react and interact, and so what each screen, what options each screen needs to have on. You should have a flow chart by now. So you're going to be building this UI kit so that you can then build a quick prototype of that that interface using your flowchart and then Unity or whatever your preferred UI prototyping kit is. So there's a whole bunch of them. I mean, there's a ton you can download. I downloaded this one Adventure Game Mini UI Pack, which you can see here. It comes as a PSD. It's got all these different layers and options. Now this one's really detailed, and it's definitely more detailed than suits our purposes, or at least my purposes. But I just wanted you to know that there are options out there. You can find a bunch of stuff for free, and it's up to you whether or not you want to change it. For this assignment, I'd like you to try to build one from scratch, or find one and use that as a basis to get started. If you do use one that isn't yours, definitely cite it in the end. But again, you are just building something super simple. So to get started, if you're making your own, we're going to be building it in Illustrator. That's what I usually use because it's vectors and I can make shapes really quickly. I'm not doing any fancy effects or colors or anything like that, so it's nothing super crazy. Create a new document. You can title it 900 by 900 pixels, square. Doesn't matter what your color space is. I like to turn the grid on. That's totally an option. It's up to you. It's always good to have a couple of basic kind of screen placeholders. You should be able to resize a lot of these. I tend to do them with transparent backgrounds. You can do them with your fully transparent background. So put that at 50, maybe even give it like a gray and go at 50. And then I like to give a sort of an X marks to show that it's a placeholder. So I go into wireframe mode so that I can line these paths up correctly. Let's get the line tool again. So just kind of line your anchors up. Oops. Here we go. Line that crosshair up and just pull down. You can make this look any way you want. Just trying to line everything up here. So then we end up with something that looks like this. You can change your stroke. Change this to whatever you want. It doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. If you're designing for a specific system, you can put some buttons in there. Make a circle. I like to keep the buttons colored. So for instance, if I'm doing a 360, I know there's going to be an A. Let me make it, pick a font. Now you can, depending on your font, actually I should pick a better font than that. This fat squat font. Now, depending on your font, you may have a different or weird sort of center to align to. Now, if we want to align these two objects, you want to make sure that select both of them, come up to your align, make sure your align to is set to selection, and then you can just hit center, and it should, yeah, it looks pretty good. It should be aligned there. Change your colors to match what you want, and then I just copy this a bunch of times. Well, not a bunch, but 4, since I need to set up those other 4 objects. You can then, of course, distribute. Ooh, that didn't work. Well, let's change them first. You can distribute it to get the, what am I trying to say? You can distribute it to get the spacing correct on those. So X, Y, oh, that's exact. Yeah, it is centered. Looks a little, it's off to me. That's what I mean, like sometimes these are off just a tiny bit. Let's set my increments here to 1 pixel or 0.1 pixels. So actually, move this guy. Still not enough. Let's just change it to 0.5 pixels. Yeah, too much. Go back to 0.1. Okay, so you know it thinks it's aligned, but I don't think it's aligned. The center, moving them all down and over a little bit. Okay, so we've got our letters set up. Let's change our colors here. Let's say B is blue usually, I think. Just a circle. I think X is yellow. Yeah, no, Y is yellow. X is green. And then get your colors correct here. Okay, so I've got the colors set up for my buttons. These are the buttons I'm going to use. Okay, get rotated. How? Must have accidentally rotated it. Huh, weird. Anyway, no love. Okay, geez, that took way longer than it should have. Okay, so then I've got these guys together. These are my buttons. I'm going to leave them pretty big. You can always change their size. You can always make them smaller in Unity. We're going to be using Unity's. Unity now has a built-in sprite editor that does a really good job of slicing. So let's kind of move this over. So you kind of just want to make like a big object and then make it smaller in Unity. So make your objects as big as you can. Within reason, of course, because then you need to worry about performance. Just make a couple of boxes that are smaller here for whatever we need. And again, it really depends on what you're going to be doing and what you're going to be using, what you need. Another thing to probably add that'd be a good idea is like a slider option and make it 1 pixel here, and then we'll put a little toggle in there somewhere. We'll just change that toggle color to, let's go dark, and then we'll give it a lighter stroke so that it really stands out. Okay, something lighter than that. Maybe stroke just a little more. There we go. So now we've got a toggle. You can do gradients. I mean, you can do anything you want. You could have another gradient in here to show like color. If you do that, what I recommend doing to set it up correctly for scripting is just having it as a separate color down here. Having it be a copy of that toggle or that slider, and then just having it be whatever color you think you're going to end up with. Because this is, if you're going to build a functional UI, you're going to need something like that. Now, for just doing the mock-up, like what we're really going to be worrying about initially, and we are going to make it interactive, but initially, like with these toggles, what we would do is just have this be, just have it be a little shorter there, and then just do that, so that you've got your toggle and it sits right on top of it, and it looks just fine. These are all static elements, so I'm not worried too much about moving them. You could set up some buttons, you could set up check marks, you could set up text fields, you could have some sample text in there. Again, it's totally up to you how you want to set this up, but you need to at least set up this atlas. This is a UI, it's a UI Atlas. It's like a sprite sheet. It's pretty much exactly the same thing, just different purposes. So once I have this done, or where I want it to be, you just save it as a PNG with transparency. Save it, good quality here. Okay, so we're gonna hit save. I'm gonna stick it in my assets folder. I made a folder called Sprite. Pop it in there. It will then open. Actually, let's go to my Finder. We'll then open our Unity project. Okay, so once you've got your Unity project built or opened again, switch to your 2D camera. You see I've already uploaded a sprite. If we switch over to two-column layout, you can see I've got that sort of that thumbnail asset viewer, which can be handy when you're looking up stuff. If you need to, you can change your layout as well. Let's go for split, or let's go wide. There we go. So this may give you a better view of it, but this will then open up and you'll see all the different sprites that I've got now from this pack that I downloaded. Now if we look at the one that we just built, I've got two here. I want to use the simple UI one, but I need to open it in, I need to tell Unity that it is a sprite. So just select it, come up here to texture type, we're going to call it a sprite. It is a multiple sprite, so it has multiple images in the one sprite. Pixels to units. So we did 900 pixels to 900 by 900 is the size of this sprite sheet. So this is going to give us a 9-unit wide document. I'm going to say 10 so that we get 90. Actually, let's go 50. So then we'll get 18. We're going to go 4096. So it's fairly, let's go true color. And then we will hit apply. Then we'll open our sprite editor. You can see we've got it all in here. We're going to use our splicer. Minimum size is 4. We're going to just do automatic slicing. Pivot center, that's fine. Slice. So this automatic slicer is really good, except that it missed our circles there. So let's, let's see our grid here. Yeah, that's not good either. Man, how did it miss our circles? Let's go minimums 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's try 9. Still missing our circles. Let's apply it.
and see if it works out. It could be because they're not thick enough. We might need to change the thickness of that sprite, or that object, but let's just take a look here. Yeah, we're gonna need those circles. But once this is done, you can actually just drag and drop now, and you should have it in here. And then, well, it's super close to our camera we have set up right now. Oh, because it's also gigantic. It annoys me not being able to see my. Yeah, that's fun. Okay. It's doing all sorts of fun stuff. Yeah, constrain if you're under free aspect ratio, you're going to get some weird glitches whenever you move it around like that. So just constrain it and those glitches should go away. Okay. So I'm using the NGUI camera. So you don't need to actually drop it into Unity yet or anything. I just wanted to show you how Unity slicing would work. So if you end up with, you want to have some circles in here, then what I would do is increase the stroke weight a bit more, and that should get your objects selected by Unity whenever you pop them in. The other thing you could do too is select all of those and just give them a white fill. Sorry, select the circles, and let's ungroup them real quick. Okay, select these guys, give them a white fill, and then send them to the back. Oh, it did do my letters too. Let's just lock them real quick. Okay. White and send them back. The white might actually help. Mess with the transparency too. It might actually help Unity see this, and then save it as a PNG. I'm just going to save over the one that's already here. Let's drop back into Unity. Let's go ahead and delete that. Okay. Sprite texture again. Yes, keep it 100. Pivot center, filter, okay. Uncompressed. There we go. Sprite editor. And then we will do slice. Okay, so now it picked it up because it had more to go by this time. So just hit apply, close your sprite editor, and you should have more objects here so you can play with. And then you can resize that at your whim. That gives you your you should be able to mess with transparency a little bit. If you, not your color picker, sorry. Play with your alpha. That will, of course, though, mess with the entire alpha. If you want that, like something like that to be, if you want that white to be transparent, you're gonna have to set it up as a separate object inside Illustrator, and then when you export, it should give you that transparency. Yeah, these are a lot bigger. So this gives you, your sense of your object. So we'll be messing with this stuff in Unity later on in future weeks, probably the week after this one. For this week, I just want you to worry about making a simple UI Atlas. You need more than what I have here, of course. You need whatever is relevant to your flowchart and your UI design. So, for each of those scenes, each of those screens, you're going to need your specific components for those, and probably like screen headers and everything. So, it's really going to be different for everyone. So work on this. You're working on the vector program of your choice. You can do it in Photoshop if you want. I don't really care how you get it done. I just want you to get it done and export it as a PNG so that then we can import it into Unity next week and cut it up so that we can start positioning it and adding some functionality. If you have any questions, of course, you can always get a hold of me. Happy to answer. Hopefully this seems clear. It's a light week, but we need to get the stuff ready so that we can work with it later on. So, all right, have fun.